आरबीआई कहता है जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
Hello and welcome to Express News. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. In the next half an hour, we'll get you all the latest news and updates. Let's start with our top story. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed a webinar on effective implementation of budget provisions in the health sector through video conference. Addressing the webinar, the Prime Minister said the budget allocated to the health sector in this year's budget is unprecedented and shows the government's commitment to provide better health care to every citizen. PM Modi recalled how last year was very difficult and challenging owing to the pandemic and expressed happiness for overcoming the challenge and saving many lives. He credited the achievement to the combined efforts of the government and private sector. The Prime Minister said the world now clearly appreciates the strength and resilience shown by India's health sector owing to its demonstration of its experience and talent during the corona pandemic. He said the prestige and trust towards the country's health sector has increased manifold all over the world and that now the country has to work towards the future while keeping this in mind. PM added that a holistic and integrated approach is adopted from prevention to cure. He said the government is working with a four-pronged strategy towards a healthy India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the 66th convocation of IIT Kharagpur today through a video conference. Union Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank and Union Minister of State for Education Shri Sanjay Dhotre were present on the occasion. Prime Minister said this day is not only important for the parents and teachers of the IIT but also for the new India as the students represent the entire country. He urged the students passing out as they embark on a new journey of life to work towards creating startups and innovating things that can change the lives of crores of people in the country. He said the degree they won today represents the aspiration of millions of people which they have to fulfill. PM Modi asked the students to adopt the mantra of Self-3 to overcome their self-doubts and obstacles in the future. He said Self-3 is self-awareness, self-confidence and selflessness. He advised the students to recognize their potential and move forward, move ahead with full confidence, move ahead with selflessness. Prime Minister said that there is no place for hastiness in the field of science and technology. He added, you may not get complete success in the innovation you are working on, but that failure of yours will also be considered a success because you will learn something from that as well. Prime Minister lauded the efforts of IIT Kharagpur on the implementation of the new national education policy. He praised the institute for the way they were exploring knowledge and science as the strength of our future innovation. He urged the institute to compile 75 major innovations made by the institute to coincide with the 75th year of India's independence and make them reach the country and the world. India and Mauritius signed comprehensive economic cooperation and partnership agreement. Dr. S. Jaishankar addressed the 46th session of UN Human Rights Council virtually. During his address, he said gaps in implementation of human rights must be addressed in a fair manner, respecting national sovereignty. Dr. S. Jaishankar stated that India over the years has taken strong actions in the fight against terrorism. The Supreme Court today deferred hearing on a petition filed by the CBI in the Sharda Chit Fund scam case for 2 weeks. The CBI approached the Supreme Court seeking to question senior IPS officer and former Kolkata Police Commissioner Rajiv Kumar in connection with that case. In Bihar, at least 7 people were killed and 2 injured after a truck collided with an SUV car on National Highway 31 in Katihar district this morning. The mishap took place near Karsela area of the district. The interim Tamil Nadu budget for 2021-2022 was presented today by Deputy Chief Minister O. Paneer Selvam in the House temporarily functioning at Kalaivanar Arangam due to the threat of corona. In Karnataka, at least 6 people died and 1 injured in a blast at a quarry site at Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today inaugurated a skill development centre for DRDO for fire safety training. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, while speaking on the occasion, said that the Modi government has stressed on Skill India from day one. The School Education Department in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir has ordered reopening of all schools in Kashmir Division and Winter Zone of Jammu Division from March 1st in a phased-out manner. HSBC has waived its pivot to Asia, outlining plans to invest about $6 billion in the region as it reported a 34% drop in profits for 2020, partly due to the impact from COVID-19. It is targeting wealth management, commercial banking to drive double-digit growth, signaling out Asian markets such as Singapore, China and Hong Kong. South Korean automaker Hyundai Motor Company launched its Ioniq 5 mid-size crossover today. It is the first in a planned family of electric vehicles which aims to propel into the third rank of global EV makers by 2025. Coming to the US stocks, the S&P 500 and Nasdaq closed lower yesterday as climbing treasury yields and prospects of rising inflation triggered valuation concerns, hitting shares of high-flying growth companies. The Dow Industrials ended higher, boosted by a surge in Walt Disney Company shares. Petrobras shares plunged 22% yesterday, wiping out $13 billion in market value as Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro again slammed its pricing policies after replacing the state-controlled oil company's market-friendly CEO with a retired army general. The telecom equipment maker Huawei Technologies, struggling under US sanctions, has seen a slight growth in its annual performance, helped by significant levels of confidence from its customers. Among key indices, the benchmark S&P BSE Sensex closed at 49,751 levels, up 7 points, that is 0.01%. Nifty advanced 32.10 points to 14,707.80. The gold rates, which have increased slightly on Monday, had remained steady at all major cities across the country on Tuesday. On MCX, the gold rate is at Rs 47,190. Petrol price nears Rs 91 per litre mark and diesel crosses Rs 81 a litre as fuel prices hiked again after 2 days pause. In the global markets, Asian shares rebounded from 2-week lows today as rising commodity prices boosted market expectations of an improved growth outlook a day after rising US Treasury yields and inflation prospects hit US tech shares. The country's active caseload has fallen below 1.50 lakh. It stands at 1,47,306 today. The present active caseload now consists 1.34% of India's total positive cases. 10,584 new daily cases have been recorded in the last 24 hours, whereas 13,255 recoveries registered in the last 24 hours. It has led to a net decline of 2,749 cases in the total active caseload. India's daily positivity rate remains below 3%. India has recorded a steady decline in the number of daily new deaths. 78 deaths were reported in the last 24 hours. 21 states and union territories have not reported any COVID-19 deaths in the last 24 hours. As on 22nd February, the vaccination coverage was 1,17,45,552 through 2,44,877 sessions. The second dose of COVID-19 vaccination started on 13 February 2021 for those beneficiaries who have completed 28 days after receipt of the first dose. 51.66% of the total vaccine doses are concentrated in 7 states. Uttar Pradesh alone accounts for 10.4%. 61.15% of the second vaccine doses are concentrated in 8 states. Karnataka alone accounts for 11.13%. India's cumulative recoveries stand at 1.07 crore today. The recovery rate is 97.22% today. The gap between total recovered cases and the active cases is constantly rising and stands at 1 crore 56 lakh 5,359 today. 86.56% of the new recovered cases are observed to be concentrated in 6 states. Maharashtra has reported the maximum number of single-day recoveries with 5,210 newly recovered cases. 2,212 people recovered in Kerala in the past 24 hours, followed by 449 in Tamil Nadu. 84% of the new cases are from 6 states. Maharashtra continues to report the highest daily new cases at 5,210. Maharashtra is followed by Kerala with 2,212, while Tamil Nadu reported 449 new cases. 6 states account for 84.62% of the new deaths. Maharashtra saw the maximum casualties at 18. Kerala reported 16 deaths and Punjab reported 15 deaths. As of now, more than 11 crore 23 lakh coronavirus cases have been reported worldwide. The global death toll due to coronavirus has surpassed 24 lakh and stands at over 24 lakh 86,000. Over 8 crore 78 lakh people have been recovered from the virus. The United States remains worst hit by COVID-19 pandemic, past the figure of 5 lakh COVID-related deaths. US President Joe Biden led Americans in observing a moment of silence on Monday to commemorate the grim milestone of 5 lakh US deaths from COVID-19. US President Joe Biden launched changes to the main US coronavirus aid program for small businesses, trying to reach smaller, minority-owned firms and sole proprietors left behind in previous rounds of aid. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson set out a phased plan on Monday to end England's COVID-19 lockdown, offering a cautious approach to try to prevent a return to wholesale restrictions that have hobbled the economy. Johnson said the fast start to the vaccine rollout plus a sharp fall in infections now allowed him to set out a cautious erasing of England's tough national lockdown, which started on January 5. Italy's new Prime Minister Mario Draghi and his cabinet approved a decree to continue restricting movement between regions until March 27. Schools in most German states reopened on Monday for the first time since the Christmas lockdown came into effect on December 16th. Palestinians in Gaza began COVID-19 vaccinations on Monday after receiving doses donated by Russia and United Arab Emirates. The Alpes Maritime region in the south of France on Monday announced a partial lockdown over the next 2 weekends in the coastal area between Menton and Thioul to fight a surge in coronavirus infections. Chief Executive of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region Carrie Lam and several HKSAR government officials were vaccinated against COVID-19 on Monday. The United States on Monday announced sanctions against 2 more leaders of Myanmar's junta and warned of further action after a number of people defiantly rallied for the restoration of the nation's democracy. NASA has on Monday released a nearly 3-minute video and audio captured by Mars rover Perseverance during its landing on the surface of the red planet last week. The video shows the final minutes of Perseverance entry, descent and landing, while an audio file depicts sounds of wind gusting on the surface of the planet. The United States said India's pharmaceutical sector is strong and well established and has long played a central role in manufacturing life-saving vaccines for global use. U.S. Senate Department spokesperson Ned Price said cooperation between India and the U.S. builds on decades of successful partnership in health and biomedical research. Facebook will restore Australian news pages after Canberra offered amendments to a proposed law designed to force tech giants to pay for media content displayed on their platforms. Australia will offer 4 amendments, including to the mechanism for final after arbitration. Thailand welcomed its first group of visitors from South Korea under a golf quarantine program, with European visitors undergoing villa quarantine in Phuket. Tourists in the golf program will be confined to their hotel rooms for the first 3 days, while those in the villa program will be locked in for 5 days. Prince Philip, the 99-year-old husband of Britain's Queen Elizabeth, has spent a 7th night in hospital after being admitted as a precaution. Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, walked into London's private King Edward VII Hospital last week after he was advised by his doctor to be admitted after he felt unwell. Pope Francis is due to hold an inter-religious prayer service at the ancient Mesopotamian site when he visits Iraq next week. The event aims to draw renewed attention to the place revered as the birthplace of Abraham. Estonian tech company Respiri on Monday launched a wearable air purifier it says can kill more than 99% of viruses and bacteria in air inhaled by the wearer using ultraviolet light. The device has been developed with universities in Estonia and Poland and is backed by the Estonian Education Ministry. A Polish zoo has celebrated the birth of a bear cuscus, saying it is the only zoological garden in the world that has successfully bred the marsupial species. Bear cuscus are one of the rarest and least known species on Earth. Cambridge University has revealed a time-lapse recording showing a rare cactus moonflower blooming in its botanical garden. The moonflower, Seleniceras viti, originating from the Amazon, is believed to be the first of its kind to bloom in the UK. Copenhagen Zoo has released a video of the female polar bear club Imak and her mother Lynn enjoying the snow. 2-year-old Imak is almost the size of her mum and is 9 years old. Imak was born in captivity at the zoo in 2018. In Indonesia, the Borneo Orangutan Survival and Indonesian Rehabilitation Center has released 10 critically endangered orangutans into the wild last week with the help from a helicopter. The Bornean orangutans had been in captivity before their rescue. In USA's Oklahoma City, a 6-legged dog, Skipper, is being called a miracle after she is not only surviving but is at home and doing well. According to research, Skipper may be the first 6-legged dog to be born alive. A clip of a tractor shaking orange trees in Spain has gained thousands of retweets and likes on social media. In Valencia, during January and February, tractors can be seen in Valencia intensively shaking trees to catch bitter oranges in giant plastic nets. Between 350 and 400 tons of oranges are taken each year. Burberry's Riccardo Tisci said the dream of being able to explore had inspired his first menswear Focus collection. For the British luxury label, Outwear is the focus in the Autumn-Winter 2021 collection filmed at Burberry's street store in central London. Tourists curious about Russia's imperial past can now ride on a special train running through the Ural Mountains along the route travelled by some members of the royal family before the execution in 1918. The train has a royal family themed wagon from early 20th century. Paris's rooftop workers that climb up buildings every day to upkeep the city's zinc-covered roofs and give the French capital an aerial view of a distinct colour palette are seeking UNESCO recognition for the Savoy Fair. They want their know-how to be recognized by the UN Culture Agency. This ESA satellite view has released images of Mount Etna's lava flow highlighted in infrared, making it appear bright red and orange. Mount Etna has erupted 4 times in the past 6 days, sending lava down its slopes and showering nearby villages with ash. Etna, on the Italian island of Sicily, is one of the most active volcanoes in the world. Iconic works spanning 70 decades of UK popular art went on display in Bonhams ahead of their action. Topping the bill is a print of girl with balloon along with a photo of Kate Moss by the artist Chris Levine. The photo has been donated to the Action by Levinian Mosque, with proceeds being given to Oxfam. A 139-year-old San Francisco house got a brand new address 6 blocks away thanks to an extensive team of engineers and construction workers. The Victorian house was loaded onto a flatbed truck and moved from its lot on Franklin Street. Spectators turned out to cheer and take pictures as the 5,000 square foot house began its journey. Russia's St. Petersburg is facing heavy snowfall for the second day in a row. The city authorities deployed over 1,400 pieces of equipment and 400 street cleaners to remove the snow from the city's roads and sidewalks. Street cleaners remove snow from rooftops, streets and collect the remaining snow once utility vehicles have passed. Sports stories now. The third match of the 4-test series between India and England will be played day-night in Ahmedabad from tomorrow. Both teams will try to win the match and take the lead in the series. Ahmedabad Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Stadium is ready to create history. India and England teams will be face-to-face in Motera Stadium tomorrow. In the upcoming third test match against England, Nishant will become the second Indian pacer after Kapil Dev and the 11th overall to play 100 tests. Virat Kohli is set to break yet another record of India's most successful captain. After Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Kohli is one win away from winning the most matches as captain on the home soil. 30th Adriatic Pearl boxing tournament held in Montenegro saw a splendid performance by Indian women boxers as they topped the medal tally by winning a total of 10 medals, including 5 golds in this competition. Juventus secured a third spot in Serie A standings table after winning its match against Crotone on 23rd match day. Cristiano Ronaldo scored twice in his 27th and 28th goal of the season to take his side past Crotone with a score of 3-0. Crystal Palace registered a win over Brighton and Hove Albion and moved up at the 13th spot in the standing table. Christian Benteke and Jean-Philippe Mateta scored in either half to give football fans a shocking win at Brighton at Amex Stadium. Also, Borussia Dortmund has been fined a hefty sum of 75,000 euros for breaking German football social distancing rules amid the COVID-19 pandemic. UK government guidelines directs PL players and official staff to isolate themselves for 10 days following any overseas trip. With latest ATP rankings, Novak Djokovic of Serbia remains on the top with 12,030 points. Daniil Medvedev jumps one place after latest ATP rankings. Medvedev is new world number 3 in tennis men's rankings. Naomi Osaka moved up one spot to second in the WTA rankings following her success at the Australian Open as she won her 4th Grand Slam title. Ashleigh Barty remains the world number 1 in spite of losing in the last 8 to Karolina Muchova. Woody Allen and his wife Soon Yi Previn have attacked a new HBO documentary that re-examines a decade-old allegation that the Oscar-winning filmmaker molested his adopted daughter Darlene Farrow, calling the television series a hatchet job. French electronic music band Daft Punk have announced they are splitting up. The split ends a 28-year-old collaboration that spawned dance hits including Around the World and One More Time. The group, known for appearing publicly dressed as robots in metallic helmets, posted a video on YouTube entitled Epilogue. British-American actress Emily Blunt turns 38 today. She is master of many genres, be it dramas, comedies, romance, musicals, war film and even horror movies. Known for her commanding performances, she has played lead roles in films like Into the Woods, The Girl on the Train, A Quiet Place, Mary Poppins Returns, among many others. News from Bollywood. Actor Imran Hashmi today gave a surprise to his fans as he shared the poster of his upcoming film Chehre, also starring Amitabh Bachchan. Along with the new poster, Imran also shared the release date of the film, that is the 30th of April. Well, that's all we have in Express News. Stay tuned for more news and updates. Namaskar.